Hello y'all, I'm Miss World, also known as Casey, and my goal is to show you how to travel around the world in style and on a budget. Today, I'm at my home base in Louisville, Kentucky.
This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
Hey y'all, Ms. World here from my home studio. I'm just dropping a line in really quick before the video begins to let you know that the audio did get messed up. So for the first few minutes of the video, my mouth may not sync up perfectly with the audio that you hear because I had to re-record the audio. I forgot to turn the microphone on. I'm still really new at this, so these things are bound to happen. So it may look just a little bit strange for the first few minutes of the video, but then the audio is going to sync up and it's going to be much better. So stick with me and we'll see you soon.
I'm in my home city right now, planning for my next trip, and that's why I thought this would be a good time to talk to you about creating a travel budget. More specifically, in this video, we're going to talk about how to design a budget and where to find the money to travel. We're going to begin at the beginning with getting together the money you need to travel to your dream destination. For a long time, I thought traveling to a different continent or going to the other side of the world was just way too expensive. I thought traveling to Europe or Asia from the US was something only for rich people. Well, it's not, and it shouldn't be. So I was playing on my phone one day and I thought, how expensive is it to travel really? I realized that I had never actually looked up the cost of a plane ticket, a hotel room in Europe. How much does food cost in, say, Paris? I didn't really know the answer to the question. I just thought in my head, oh, well, it's a lot of money. It's beyond what I can afford. Well, that particular day, I looked it up. How much does it cost to spend a week in London? How much does it cost to fly to Europe? I got on some hotel sites. I started doing research. And I found out that actually, I can afford to travel. And you can too. You're already closer to taking a trip than I was a year ago because you're watching this video. A year ago, if you had told me that I'll be going to spend 2 weeks in Europe soon, I would have laughed at you. Like, okay, clearly I'm winning the lottery then. I didn't win the lottery. I don't play the lottery. I just started doing the research. And that's your next step. You've taken step one. You're here watching this video, so you're thinking about traveling. So now the next thing you're going to do is figure out your travel budget and how to find the money to travel. And that's what we're going to talk about in more detail. So the first part of creating your budget for your dream trip is establishing a baseline. You're going to need a few pieces of basic information to do this. Number one, where are you going to go? Clearly, this is the most important decision and it's going to determine your budget. Where are you going? Now, you can go wherever you want in the world if you budget smart enough, but if you want to go somewhere more expensive, somewhere like Paris or London or another really popular tourist city, things are going to cost more. Transportation around the city, food, hotels, visiting attractions. It's going to be more expensive in big popular cities than if you go to a country where the cost of living is lower, like Costa Rica or India, or if you want to go to Europe, someplace like Croatia or Estonia. So decide where you want to go. Once you have a place or maybe a few places in mind, you can establish that baseline idea we talked about earlier. You're going to go on a couple of websites and look up the cost of plane tickets to your dream destination or destinations. Don't worry about getting specific with the dates. Just get an idea of what a round trip ticket will cost so you have a working idea. Make a note of that information. Now, hit up whatever search engine you use, which is probably Google, and ask how much it costs to vacation for 1 week in that destination. This will give you a rough idea of the average cost. We're still not getting specific right now. We're just getting a baseline idea because you can shorten the trip to less than a week to make it more budget friendly. And there are tricks I can teach you to reduce the airfare and other costs too. So just get a working idea of how much the average person spends on a week in your destination. When you have those two pieces of information, the cost of your plane ticket and the average cost of a week's vacation in your dream destination, you're ready to really start fine-tuning your budget and you're getting closer and closer to actually taking that trip. So when you add the numbers together, you have an idea of the money you will need to make this trip happen. Now, you need to answer the following questions. Do you have that amount to spend right now? If you cut out a few $100s off that total, will you have enough then? How much money do you need to put aside every month or every week for 6 months to reach that baseline amount? How much do you need to set aside to reach it in a year? You know how much you make, and hopefully you know about how much you spend in a month, and you know how much money you have in your savings, if you have any savings. No judgment. I'm not good at saving money, so no shade here. If you don't have any savings and setting aside money regularly is a challenge, that's fine. We can still find the money.
Start with your monthly payments. One of the things I did to put some extra money in my bank account was to go through every single one of my subscriptions. We're talking about Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, things like Instacart. I had a Planet Fitness subscription I wasn't using. Look at your bank statement. Look at your PayPal history. Look at your Google Pay, your credit cards. Audit yourself. Find out exactly what you were paying for every month and what it costs. There may be services you can downgrade. When I did it, I changed every streaming service I had to include commercials to lower the cost of all of them. I got rid of stuff I wasn't using, and I checked for deals and bundles. I had an Instacart subscription and a subscription to Peacock. Don't judge me. Well, I found out that Instacart offers a free subscription to Peacock, and now I'm saving $5.99 a month. Making small changes like that do add up. You might be able to cut $100 or even a couple $100 a month by auditing yourself like this. I cut my budget by almost $200 a month. Traveling became much more possible as soon as I did this. Another way to find money to travel is through your taxes. This is where I found the money for my adventures, so I know this works. If you pay taxes through the year, you can get a tax return around spring every year. Make the decision to spend this on traveling and use this to fund your dream trip. Use every single possible deduction to get more from your return and commit the whole amount to traveling. I can actually get way more in depth when it comes to getting a return on taxes and using deductions to get money back because I started doing my own taxes and I did a ton of research and put a lot of time into learning more about it. So if you want some more in-depth information about it, drop me a comment and let me know, and I may make an entire video just about that. Another thing you're going to look at is any bad habits you might have. We all have them. And honestly, sometimes you've earned that fancy coffee drink, that pizza night, that thing from your Amazon wish list. You work hard, you do a ton of stuff. You deserve those little treats, but you also deserve to see the world and have experience. You deserve to take a dream trip. So I want you to go back into your bank accounts, your PayPal and Venmo, look at the last 3 months and write down your regular expenses, not your bills or rent or mortgage, but your other costs. Are you taking a lot of Ubers when you could ride a bus or a subway? Are you buying lunch most days when you could bring something cheaper from home? Are you surprised by how much you're spending on Amazon or fast food or stuff from the store? You can always brew coffee at home or challenge yourself to make a different sandwich for lunch every day for a month. Sometimes, all you need to do to put more money in your pocket is just change up some of your habits. When you write it down and see how much you're spending in black and white, you will see where you can make some changes and you will start growing your travel budget. So now you have a baseline idea of where you want to go and what it will cost. You've audited your finances to find extra money. You figured out how much of your tax return you can use for traveling. This will give you a working idea of how much money you can start putting toward your trip. Once you've got that, you can start to build a comprehensive budget and figure out what you're going to spend and where that money will come from. Once you have some good ideas about where you want to go, what it will cost, and your overall financial situation, it's time to build a real trip budget. There's really only one way to do that, and that's research. Get a good idea of where you want to travel. It's going to be much cheaper if you choose to go in the off season. For most destinations, that means don't go in the summer. From June to the end of August, things are going to be more expensive. And I do mean everything. Plane flights, accommodations, food, travel within cities, attractions, all of this costs more during the peak travel season. So my advice is to go during what's known as the shoulder season, which means spring or fall. I take my trips in April because that's one of the cheapest months to fly. Once you've got your destination and you know where you want to go, start getting serious about looking for flights and accommodations because these are going to be your big expenses. The earlier you book, the more you will save. You can also look for bundle deals that may be more affordable. Look at all your options while you're researching so you know what you're going to spend on the big costs. When it comes to the rest of your travel budget, start with the idea that you're going to spend $100 to $200 a day per person. There are lots of ways to lower this number, but start here because there are going to be extra costs and you want those covered as well. So use this number to determine how long your trip's going to be. Doing this will give you a strong idea of what your final budget for your dream trip will look like. There are lots of very affordable places you can go to spend less money per day, and there are many budget tricks that I use to lower costs. Some of the major things to keep in mind are to use public transport because cabs can be a huge expense. Look for rentals as well as hotels because sometimes these are more budget friendly. Don't be afraid of street food, local grocery stores, and markets. You can find lots of budget-friendly food this way. Eating at restaurants for every meal is going to wreck your budget. I'm breaking down a lot of different ways you can save money while traveling in my videos, so make sure you subscribe to my channel for all my budget tips and keep watching so you can keep traveling without spending a lot of money. Thank you for taking the journey with me, and maybe I'll see you out there someday. Now, Voyager, sail forth to seek and find.